प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे।
Hare Krishna, thank you Subbalakshmi for the wonderful recitation of prayers. I welcome you all to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, a very quick and short recap. So far in the third chapter, we've seen how Krishna is clearly telling Arjuna that karma is better than sannyas. Right? And then he's slowly taking Arjuna up the spiritual ladder. First, he was doing karma, right? We all are doing karma only for our own sense gratification. So to get us started, Krishna says, now do the same karma, do the same work, but offer it to the devatas, right? So he explains the whole cycle of nature, and then Krishna says, ki offer whatever you're doing to the devatas. Once Arjuna has understood that platform, Krishna says, okay, here is a better idea. And he talks about yajna. He says, whatever you do as a sacrifice. Which means, don't do karma only for your own benefit. For personal benefit karna chhod do. Instead, offer it to God. Nishkama karma yog. Without personal greed, personal motivation, do your karma, offer it to God. Right? And then of course this chapter is great for leaders because there are very clear instructions on how a leader should have exemplary behavior. How he should lead commoners to follow and to slowly purify their actions and eventually lead them to liberation. Right? We saw how Krishna tells us not to be a ahankara vimudhatma. If you have too much ahankar, you're going to be a vimudha, you're going to be foolish. So he does not want us to have the ahankar ki I am so and so, I am this material body, right? So we should not stupidly think that we are the doers. Whatever is being done by Prakriti and the three modes of Prakriti. Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Okay? So Prakruteha kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. Okay? So instead Krishna wants us to be tattvavit. Somebody who understands tattva. And the tattva is I am spirit soul. I am jivatma. I am not this body. I am a part of the great Lord Krishna. I am not the doer. Okay? Then Krishna instructs us on how we should work. Remember, all along, Krishna is not saying ki give up work. He is saying, do your duty. Work. But when you work, follow these principles. He says, Mai sarvani karmani. What do you do with your karma? You offer them all to Krishna. Adhyatma chetasa. Where should your chetana be? Always connected to Him. Always in gratitude. Always aware that I am nothing without Him. Whatever I do, I should be able to see His hand in it. And then nirmama. Nothing is mine. Don't claim false proprietorship. Mera ghar, mera pati, mere, bacche, meri gadiya. Don't claim proprietorship. Whatever is here has been put in my custody for me to look after to the best of my ability. But it all belongs to Him. And then nir-asha, without any asha, without any desires, do your karma. Right? And then two very important things. Shraddhavantaha, with faith, with complete devotion, knowing that He is always there to look after me. Whatever happens in my life is happening because He has okayed it. Right? And then anasuyantaha, without envy. Without ever thinking, why should I offer it to Him? Who does He think He is? No. Right? He is the super soul. I am a tiny soul with that awareness. Okay? So we'll continue where we left off. We're going to start with verse number 33. Please repeat after me. Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrute jnanavanapi prakrutim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Krishna, can you read the translation, please?
Of knowledge acts according to everyone follows the nature. What can affect some?
Okay. So, in this verse also Krishna is coming back to the same point कि action is far better than inaction. A person cannot be inactive. A person will act, and he will act based on his guna, on his samskaras of his endless past lifetimes. Right? The prarabdha karma of this life and the endless samskaras of past life have given him a particular body, a particular mindset, and based on that a person is going to act. Sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakrute jnanavanapi. Even a jnanavan person, a very, very wise person, is most definitely going to act, and he is going to act according to his prakruti, according to his own nature. Prakrutim yanti bhutani. He says, look around in the world also. All living beings are following their own nature. So even if you see animals, right, a dog will be very, very loyal because that is his prakruti. Right? If you see a cow, the minute you take a calf away from the cow is in distress. Right? If you look at the chota ants that that we get in our house sometimes, they're all social creatures. They bring food for the whole community. Right? So even animals are driven by their own nature. So then what about human beings? Arjun, you are a warrior by nature. Your nature is going to compel you to fight. So just do your duty, do it without attachment. In fact, if you look at it, all of us who have growing children, right? Even for our children, we get personality tests done, na? We get counseling done, we take guidance, we do the Myers-Briggs personality test, or we do the simple DMIT test, we take career guidance. Why? Because we're trying to figure out what it is that suits our natural propensities. So even if your child has got a 98% in the boards, you still go to a counselor because her report card is telling you that she can do anything. But you want to know what is best suited to her personality type. With the 98 also, we see children taking commerce and arts because that is most suited to their personality. Right? So, every one of us should work according to our personality type, according to our natural propensity. Right? We should pick our careers based on our natural propensities because there is only that much that hard work can push us to do. But latent talent, latent potential, right? Having a natural spark can take us miles ahead. It's like if you take an ordinary cricketer and if you take Sachin Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, right? The normal cricketer, your gully cricketer must have practiced as hard as Sachin or Virat, right? But without that natural propensity, there's only that much that he can achieve. Correct? So here Krishna is saying everybody will work according to their natural propensities. I'm telling you, I have 3 children. My middle daughter, we threw her in the pool and she swam. Right? She just swam. She was a fish. She just took to water. And my oldest and my youngest, oh my God, coach lagaya, rona dhona hua, everything happened. But they could never get to be as good as my middle one. Because there is a natural inborn propensity. Right? So that's exactly what Krishna is telling Arjuna here. He's saying, please work according to whatever nature you have got based on the 3 modes. Because repression, trying to forcefully be somebody else, is not going to accomplish anything at all. Okay? So very important lesson for us and everybody in our care. Please help them understand their potential and work according to whatever is their latent personality type. Okay? Next verse please. 34. Indriyasyendriyasyarthe ragadveshau vyavasthitau तयोर्न वशमागच्छेत् तौ यस्य परिपन्थिनौ.
There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion, because they are the stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization.
Indriyasyendrayasyarthe raga dveshau vyavasthitau. When we are using our indriyas, when our indriyas, our senses are connected to indriya ka artha, means a sense object. So when my eyes are connected to the television, or when my eyes are connected to a book, or when my tongue is connected to a gulab jamun. Okay? So when one indriya is connected to its indriya arthe, when a sense is connected to the sense object, we will definitely have a feeling of raga or dvesha. I will either like something or I will not like something. I will either enjoy the TV show that I am watching or I will not like it. I will enjoy the book that I am reading or I will not like it. I will like the gulab jamun or I will not like it. Right? So as soon as my indriyas are connected to a sense object, I automatically experience love or hate, rag or dvesh. Tayor na vashamagachet. Krishna is saying, तुम उसके वश में मत आओ. Don't come under the control of raga and dvesha. Because tau yasya paripanthinau. Because they will become paripanthinau, roadblocks on the path of spiritual growth. If you want to grow as a spiritual being, then you cannot get stuck in I love this, I hate this. You cannot be stuck in these dualities. When we are doing our duty, whatever our duty is, we will have likable situations and non-likable situations. And we must learn to treat both these situations the same. It cannot be कि shopping जाना है बहुत खुश, cooking करना है nonsense. Right? We cannot have this sukh and dukha. Both cooking and shopping, do it with the same commitment. So suppose we are teachers. I like this student, I don't like this student. No, I cannot have that differentiation. If I own a retail outlet, I like this customer, I don't like this customer. No, I cannot do that. I have to treat them both well. So we have to stop being slaves to our likes and our dislikes. But Krishna is very practical. He knows that artificially trying to become detached is very, very difficult. Artificially trying to control our senses is very, very difficult. And so remember, he's already told us how to do it. Param drishtva nivartate. Right? Get a higher taste. Develop a higher taste. And always remember, yajnarthat karmanu. Do everything, all your karmas as a yajna for his pleasure. So when you do your karma for his pleasure, then you will not have any rag or any dvesh. Think of it like this, na? If you've had a really good meal, right, you're completely satisfied, and then you go out, then all the kachra that is available on the street, right, all the street food will not look very attractive to you. Why? Because you're already satisfied. But if you're hungry, right, then you want to eat that A1 sandwich also, you want to eat that pav bhaji also, you want to eat pani puri also. You want to do all of that because temptation gets to us when there is a need, when we are hungry. But if you're already satisfied, if you've already put our senses connected to God, then we will not have this. So God is warning us ki rag and dvesh become stumbling blocks when we are trying to do bhakti. So we have to use our buddhi and not get entrapped in this raga and dvesha. Okay? Alright, next verse please. Verse number 35. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha.
It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction is the cause of performing one's duty is better than engaging in another's duties. for to follow another's path is dangerous.
Destruction in the course of performing one's own duty is better. Okay. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. What is Shreya? Swadharma. Doing your own dharma based on your own varna and your own ashram, even if it is vigunaha, even if you're doing it with some faults in it. Paradharmat swanushtitat. So doing your own swadharma is better than doing duties meant for someone else. Okay? Swadharme nithanam shreya. It is okay to get destroyed while doing your own duty than to engage in another person's duty. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Following somebody else's duty is dangerous. Okay? Now what is dharma? Dharma is that which I am supposed to do based on my varna, based on my ashram. My responsibilities, my duties, my thoughts, my actions that are appropriate for my situation in life. So for a Brahman who is in the mode of goodness, being non-violent is his dharma. Right? For a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion, violence is allowed. Right? So it is okay for a Kshatriya to be violent on the battlefield than try and be a Brahman and follow non-violence. Arjuna at this particular time is finding it very hard to follow his Kshatriya dharma. Right? Arjuna is thinking, I don't want to kill my own kinsman. I better become a Brahman, go to the jungle and sit down over there in tapasya. But Krishna is telling Arjuna that it's better to die while doing your own duty than trying to become someone else. Now, please remember, if you go back in history, the great downfall of our country came about when one Kshatriya became non-violent. King Ashok. After the Kalinga war, Ashok was so deeply pained by all the bloodshed that he saw that it all appeared pointless to him. And he chose to become non-violent. A Kshatriya became non-violent. And that caused havoc in society. Women, children, older citizens, Brahmins, cows, unprotected, exploited. Ashoka taking on Buddhism and non-violence essentially left India bereft of a strong king. Right? There was nobody to protect us from the onslaught of all the foreign invaders. And our core culture as a Vedic civilization was lost. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should be fanatics. Krishna consciousness does not teach us to be fanatics. Right? We need to be flexible. But we need to understand our own swadharma as per time, place and circumstance. Swadharma is our personal dharma. Dharma which applies in our context, our situation, our maturity. Right? This swadharma can change, but it changes as your personality type changes. As you grow spiritually, you might feel yourself giving up certain lower duties and taking on higher duties. That's okay. Right? We see that, there are some people in the mission who worship for 4 hours, who sit down doing puja, path, deity services for 4 hours in the morning. Can I do that? No, because it's not my personality type. I might take to it, I might force myself to do it for, a week. At the end of it, neither will I be doing my housework, nor will I be doing that with pleasure. Right? So it's very, very important to understand our own personality type and then choose what we need to do. Krishna is asking Arjuna to follow his swadharma because he's saying कि change है ना दूर से बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है, but that change is not beneficial for you. Don't try and pretend to be somebody else. Those duties which are natural to you are what you should be doing. Other people's duties may look very attractive from far away, but switching is a very risky thing to do. Like during the lockdown, right? Everyone who was sitting at home thought that playing the stock market is the easiest way to make money. Right? Everyone thought it was easy money, and we all know what happened, na? Lots and lots of people had their entire wealth wiped out. So always remember, what we have to do has to be in tune with our nature and our buddhi. If it conflicts with our nature, it will create disharmony in our man, buddhi, ahankar. Right? So it will hinder our material progress and it will hinder our spiritual progress. So Krishna very dramatically is saying it is better to die in the process of performing your own duty than trying to do somebody else's duty. So don't get enslaved by raga and dvesha. Right? Now all these verses are so full of advice on how one should be, how one should act in this world. So Arjun bade dhyan se sun raha hai. And he really wants to lead such a perfect life. He really does not want to come under the influence of raga and dvesha. He wants to be an exemplary reader. Right? We all also feel that way. But following this advice becomes very, very difficult. And so, Arjun asks Krishna a very realistic question that represents all of us. It represents our human struggle. Okay, listen to this and then listen to the answer. These could be guiding lines for the rest of our lives. Okay, verse number 36, please. Arjuna uvacha atha kena prayukto yam papam charati purushah anichhannapi varshneya balad iva niyojitah.
Yes. Arjuna said, descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force?
Now, atha kena prayukto what is it that forces a person papam charati purushah to be sinful? What is it that forces me to commit sins? Anichan, मेरी कोई इच्छा नहीं है, मेरी बिल्कुल इच्छा नहीं है पाप करने की. Right? Anichhan api varshneya balad iva niyojitah. But it is very balad, very strong, and it forces me to do pap. Right? Now, sit back, you never have to share this, but in your head, think of all the situations when you've done pap. You did not want to do it, and yet something forced you to act in the way that you did. Right? First, we need to understand what is pap. Pap means मुझे knowledge है कि what Guru, Sadhu, Shastra are telling me, and yet I don't obey it. I go against what Guru, Sadhu and Shastra are telling me to do. Right? And why do I do it? Because there is something that forces me to disobey what Krishna is saying. I really want to do exactly what Krishna is saying. I want to offer all my karmas to Krishna. But there is something that forces me to do something else. Right? If I go back and look at all the previous verses, right? I want to have adhyatma chetasa. Right? I want to have a spiritual conscious. I want to be nirmama. Theoretically, I know that nothing belongs to me. I want to be nirasha. Right? Without any asha, without any desires. I know I have shraddha. I have full faith that he is, the owner, the controller, the enjoyer. Right? I don't envy him. I don't want raga and dvesha. I don't want attachments and detachments. And yet, there is a force that pushes me to do something which is against what Krishna is telling me to do. There is a force that prevents me from reaching this high ideal. And what is that force that makes me succumb to this raga and dvesha? Right? Our conscience always tells us to do what is right and avoid what is wrong. We all know intuitively, even bachcha bhi janta hai, intuitively when he has done something wrong. Even if you have a little pet at home, right? You will know, you will be able to see ki when he has done something wrong, he is very guilty about it. So, we're all intuitively very aware that we've done something wrong, but we do it because a strong force pushes us to do it. And Arjun wants to know what is that strong force. In fact, Duryodhan has spoken some very similar lines. Duryodhan says, Janami dharma. I know what is dharma. Okay, nacha me pravrutti. But meri pravrutti nahi hai dharma follow karne ki. Right? Janami adharma. I even know what is adharma. Nacha me nivrutti. And yet, I can't stop myself from doing adharma. Duryodhana has spoken these lines. He says, Janami dharma nacha me pravrutti. Janami adharma nacha me nivrutti. I know what is dharma, I somehow cannot do it. I know what is adharma, and I am somehow forced to do it. Kenepi devena rudhi stitena yatha niyokti tatha karomi. He says there is some dev which is situated inside of me and he pushes me to do whatever I do. Somebody is impelling me to do whatever I do. Now this is very, very important. Even Duryodhan instinctively knew कि वो जो कर रहा था वो अधर्म था. Right? The unfortunate thing in his life is that when he asked the question, why am I like this? The people who gave him answers were Dhritarashtra, they were Shakuni, they were Karna, they were his brothers, all adharmis. Whereas when Arjun thought कि यार मैं पाप करने जा रहा हूँ, he asked the question, and he asked that question to Krishna, who symbolizes dharma. So in our life also there will be hajar questions, and we need to ask these questions. Otherwise, how do we clear our fundamentals? But it is very, very important to always be aware of who we ask these questions to. Are we going to turn to Krishna, who is going to tell us, ki dude, you are wrong? Or are we going to turn to Shakuni, who is going to say, हाँ बच्चे तू जो भी कर रहा है वो सही है? Right? So it is very, very important in our lives that we have the right association. We don't have friends who are yes sir, right? जो तुम्हारी बात में मिलाते हैं. You need somebody who's very, very honest and who's able to tell you point blank if you're right or if you're wrong. You need seniors, you need friends, you need good family members who are able to point out to you what your mistakes are. That will help in improvement. So in this question, Arjun wants to know, what is it that pushes a man to forcibly commit sin? And he is turned to Krishna. And look at the answer that Krishna gives. This is something that we should learn and remember for the rest of our lives. That's the only way we are going to be able to either stop it or at least realize later and then do pashyatap. Okay? Alright, verse number 37 please. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kāma esha krodha esha Rajo guna samudbhavaha Mahashano mahapapma Vidyenam iha vairinam.
Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into pride, which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world.
Wonderful. Now I want all of you to understand every word in this verse. Okay? You need to understand the word meanings here. Arjun has asked, what is that force which forcibly makes me commit sin? And Krishna is responding saying, Kāma esha. What is Kāma? Kāma is my desire. Right? Kāma is a desire that I have. Krodha. Krodha is anger. Right? Rajo guna samudbhavaha. Kāma and Krodha ka udbhav, birthplace, is what? Rajo gun, the mode of passion. Understand this. Because I am in the mode of passion, I have a lot of desires. Right? These desires are kamanai, ichhai. Okay? When these kamanai, when these desires are fulfilled, I have more desires because I am in Rajogun. Right? Rajogun mein I keep wanting more and more and more. When that desire is fulfilled, I have more desires. That desire is fulfilled, I have more desire. Finally, at one point, that desire is not fulfilled and I have krodha. I get angry because my desire is not fulfilled. Right? Kāma esha, krodha esha, rajo guna samudbhavaha, mahashano. Maha ashano. This desire consumes us. Maha ashano. It's like a fire. If you want to keep that fire going, you have to keep putting ghee, tel, camphor, wood, something in it, right? So these desires, they are like a fire. And we are constantly feeding that fire with our continued desires. Maha ashano, maha papma. And then they force us to do all kinds of pap. Understand this, ki it is your greatest vairi, your greatest enemy. So, Kāma esha, Krodha esha. It is this lust, these sinful desires and anger. Both of them are born when we are in the mode of passion. Be very careful, Arjun, because this lust is Maha Ashanaha. It totally consumes us. Once we fall in the trap of lust, we are consumed by it. It eats us up, and Maha Papma. Then it forces us to do all kinds of sinful activities. So, dear Arjun, please understand that it is your greatest enemy. Kāma. Kāma refers to all desires that we have for material enjoyment based on this bodily concept of life. I am Varsha, and so I need blah 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 blah. Right? So lust can show itself in many ways. Okay, it can be urge for money, urge for the opposite sex, craving for prestige, craving for power, craving for something for my children to, go ahead in life which is not rightfully deserved. All of that is lust. Lust, please remember this, lust is the desire to want something that is outside of our sanctioned quota. We all have a quota allotted to us. If your quota lets you have 5 marks, great. That is still not lust, because that is your quota. But if mine does not allow me have it, then for me to want it becomes lust. So based on my framework, right? My quota has been allotted when I desire something outside of my sanctioned quota. So overeating, overbuying, excess sense gratification in any way is lust. And Krishna says lust is the cause of all sin. As soon as we are in the mode of passion, we start thinking that all worldly objects are going to give us satisfaction. Right? And so we start desiring. We probably start with, I want some money. I want a chotu sakar. I want my own house. I want a tiny piece of jewelry. Now when this desire is satisfied, it gives birth to greed. I want more money. I want a fancy car. I want a huge house. I want a large diamond. Right? And eventually when this is not satisfied, it leads to anger. Kāma transforms into Krodha, anger, when desire is not fulfilled. Right? Please remember, Kāma transfers to Lobha, to greed, when that desire is fulfilled. And that the desire will keep increasing, right? Desire for more and more and more. That desire can never be satiated. And so it is called Maha Ashanaha. It can never be fulfilled. The root cause of everything is desire. What is greed? Intensified desire. And what is anger? Frustrated desire. Correct? Greed is that same desire becoming more and more intense. So intensified desire is greed. But when that intense desire gets frustrated desire becomes anger. So both greed and anger come from lust. So Krishna is very clearly telling us lust is the root of all evil. So first, Krishna is helping us identify the enemy. Lust is your enemy. And where does this lust originate? Rajogunam samudbhavaha. It originates when you are in the mode of passion. This material world is designed to frustrate us. Right? We are absolutely unwelcome here because this is not our real home. The material world is so frustrating so that finally we feel the urge to get out of here, and finally we feel ki yaar mera sahi ghar kaun sa hai, and I want to go back over there. Right? And the only way to actually overcome Kāma is to become subservient to Dharma. Make all your desires be in line with your Varna and your Ashram. We are most definitely allowed to enjoy. Please don't misinterpret this. We are allowed to enjoy. Only thing is enjoy within the allocated quota. So Ishopanishad, it's the smallest Upanishad, and the very first verse of Ishopanishad tells us, Isha Vasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gridha kasya svedhanam. Right? So that verse of Ishopanishad tells us that everything that we see in this world, everything, animate, inanimate, everything is controlled by the Lord. And the Lord has given each one of us our quota. Please accept your quota, enjoy your quota. वो नहीं कहते कि चींटी इतनी सी है वो इतना खाती है तो हाथी भी इतना सा ही खाए. Right? He provides this much for the chinti and that much for the hathi. Right? Nobody in that world actually dies of starvation. He has given all of us our quotas, accept that, but don't you dare try to take something that does not belong to you. Ma gridha kasya svedhanam. Don't ever eye something that is somebody else's dhanam. Right? So Krishna has already told us that enjoy. So they were kings. So it's not like they lived like beggars. Right? They lived very royal, very happy lives. Everybody, please enjoy what belongs to you. Just don't try and take something that is not meant to be yours. So if you can, please try and learn this first verse of Ishopanishad. Okay? I will try and send it on the group. It's a very nice verse. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Okay? Anyways, and again, Kāma and Krodha. The beauty of bhakti is that Kāma and Krodha can also be employed in God's service. So Kāma, if you look at Prabhupada, if you look at all these spiritual leaders, they have this kamana to spread spiritual awareness. Right? It is because of that intense desire that at the age of 70, an old man could, go across the continent, go to the US and start preaching over there at the age of 70 after having 3 heart attacks. Right? That was calm, but it was employed in the service of the Lord. If you look at Hanumanji, right? Krodha. He got so angry, but he used his Krodha in burning Lanka in the service of Lord Ram. Right? So, even if you have Kāma and Krodha, use it in the service of the Lord. Right? Pooja, you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. As an individual, I don't know how many all of us have that wisdom, but this is my quota. So, who decides that quota? I understand that you were saying that Lord has given that quota and you can't go beyond that. So first of all, who decides that quota? That's my first question. Second is that I don't know how to define myself. I do not know what is a desire and then how it turns into a greed. So wo mujhe nahi pata. I want to know where do we draw a line that way. And I also want to know that if you're doing an honest work, you are loyal to your work, you put in all your 100% efforts because you are ambitious, you want to grow in life, you do have desires for your children, now that you have grown in your salary or you have grown financially, you want to take a bigger house. Now that you've grown a little more financially, you want to have a better car. So why would that be a greed and why would not that be an ambition, treated as an ambition? And why would that not be everybody has a right to a financial enhancement, everybody has a right to grow well in their lives. So why would that be taken as a greed? So I want to know that how do you define yourself कि ये इधर तक मेरा desire है और उसके बाद में वो मेरे लिए greed. Unless I am manipulating in my work, unless I am manipulating people and growing my business by doing some malicious acts and and then buying a BMW for myself, I understand that is definitely greed by going up and putting somebody else down. But when I am a service lady, I work with Tata Consultancy Services and I am an honest employee. So there was a time, so the things that you just mentioned, the phases, I went through all the phases. I was looking for my promotion, but I was feeling frustrated. So there was a point in time when I was super frustrated with God, but I speak to him every day, and somehow with my meditation, with my mala, it just my frustration just turned once again into bhakti. And I believed, and I finally told him, okay, I surrender myself, and I got my promotion actually, to be very honest, and very recently. So I
Congratulations.
went through these phases. I went through all these phases. I was since I've been praying to God since the age of 16. I was super frustrated also, and then I somehow calmed down. I don't know how. Was it because of constant mala? And again, he gained back my trust. He's like, again, come back to me, beta, and I'll manage everything for you. I will maneuver things. I will do it in a way where it falls on your favor. So I went through all the phases that you said, but I still want to know that to desire something for my children, then okay, chalo, I'm in 3 BHK. I want that my children go in a better house. I want my daughter to be going in a better house, much financially to marry in a this. So why would that be a greed? And okay, how do you define that limit?
I think you asked the question and you answered it, right? So that's what I said, consciously, subconsciously, we all know what is papa and punya, right? We all know what Guru Sadhu Shastra is telling us, and we all know what Guru Sadhu Shastra is telling us not to do, right? So you know at work, you are doing an honest job and you've grown. So nobody is saying that is greed. That is your defined quota. If you have a certain level of intelligence, then you need to use that intelligence to grow to the best of your ability. In fact, misuse of that, not using that, is going to put you in tamogul. Okay? Each one of us has to use our man, buddhi, ahankar, buddhi, to the best of our ability, and doing it with an honest conscience. कि भगवान जी मुझसे ना गलत ना हो, मैं किसी और का ना छीनूं. Right? I'm in the field of education, and we have these competitions and we have all of this. When I have a parent call and say कि please मेरा बच्चा ना रो रहा है तो आप ना उसको एक प्राइज दे दीजिए. Okay, that is not your quota. Don't ask for it. Your child is very small. Teach him to work hard and deserve it. Right? We go to school and we fight with the teacher for marks. No. Let the child work hard, deserve it. Right? Small things like that, taking what belongs to us. When you work hard and you get something in return, puja, that is not greed, that is not lust, that is not wrong. You're in a 3 BHK, you want your child to go into a 6-bedroom bungalow, absolutely nothing wrong in that. Right? Provided her moral framework, provided the moral compass that you send with her is intact. Okay? Don't ever be under the impression that a large house or a bigger car is going to spoil you. No, it doesn't. It is not lust, it is not greed. It is what has been given to you. Amrish Maharaj, right? Raja. I mean, Prahlad, born in a Raja family, Dhruv Maharaj, all of these are Maharajas. They've lived exceptionally opulent lives. Right? They didn't think, oh my God, मैं प्रजा से ना tax नहीं लूँगा. Of course they took taxes from the praja when they had so much. Why did they collect tax? So that when the time was right, when the praja needed it, they could shower it back like rainfall. Right? There's that very beautiful verse that Bhartruhari says. He says, Raj Rishis understood the value of keeping everything in check in their praja. So even when the praja was earning in limit, they would still collect taxes because they knew there will be famine, there will be, floods, there will be whatever, unfavorable situation. And that time the praja is going to need it. So we need to offer it back to them. Right? So when you're working hard and you're getting something, that is very much in your quota. But you're a mother. Right? So if you're working extra hours and not looking after your children, not doing your household duties, not feeding them good food, leaving them when they actually need someone to listen to you, then you're taking away from their quota. So are you doing disservice to anybody else that needs you? Okay, that becomes an important point. ये नहीं कि अच्छा मैंने किसी को रख दिया उनको संभालने के लिए. They will grow by themselves. I have enough money, I've put aside all of that. Does money substitute you? Does somebody else substitute you? So long as you're aware of that. And I'm not even saying, like for me when I worked, I had my mother-in-law and my mother take care of my children all the time. And I honestly believe that they were far better substitutes for me. I would have done a lousy job, they did a fantastic job. Right? So that's about it, right? In fact, it's a very interesting thing, right? We'll go to this little verse, which is maybe a little out of, okay, it's in context. I'll do this. There is a verse in the Bhagavad, okay, which tells us about the 10 things that decide which mode we are in. Okay, just make a note of this in pencil on the side of your book. It's very interesting. It says, Agamo apaha praja deshaha kalah karma cha janma cha dhyanam mantro tatha samskaro. Okay, very, very interesting. Okay, let me do this. Agamo. Agamo means what I read. Okay, am I reading a technical article? Am I reading Cosmo? Am I reading Vogue? Am I reading Graha Shobha? Am I reading Manorama, India Today? Am I reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam? Everything that I read shapes me. Okay? What I read shapes my thoughts. It shapes my perspectives. Hai na? There is an age when you have to read Agatha Christie's. There is an age when you have, gone through and read Harry Potter with your children. There is an age when you read the Bhagavad Gita. There is, all of this happens in your life. Right? You've read a lot of Reader's Digest. You've read a lot of your textbooks to become, the person that you are. What you read shapes you. लेकिन अगर तुमने अपने textbook के अंदर Mills and Boons डाल के पढ़ा है, it shapes you differently. Right? And I'm not saying good or bad. It opens your mind up to different perspectives. Right? So the first thing is agamo, what we read. And remember this from your children's point of view also. Okay, what is the kind of stuff that you should have around? Agamo, then apaha. Apaha refers to water. Means whatever I consume, what I eat and what I drink. My food and my drink are very, very formulating, okay, in my personality type. A satogun में जो person है, that satogun वाला person, because he eats satoguni food, is actually able to grow far better. Right? But if I'm trying to be in satogun and I'm still consuming a lot of liquor and I'm still eating a lot of rajoguni or tamoguni food, it's harder for me to move towards satogun. Whether you like it or not, apaha, food and water definitely changes us. Then praja, association, the people that we associate with, the people that we hang out with. There is a lovely saying which says, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. Show me 5 of your friends and I'll be able to tell you who you are. Because who we associate with, we become that. Right? So praja. Then deshaha, the place that we live in. Obviously, right. My children live in that crazy happening Mumbai. Or people who live in Delhi, New York, right? They're just chasing their tail all day and night. Right? There's so much to be done. There's so much happening. They don't have time to sit back. Whereas I'm lucky, I'm in laid back Pune. I get more time to myself. Very little happens here. Right? So I'm kind of blessed. You'd be even more blessed if you're, born in Vrindavan or Mathura or Mayapur or Jagannath Puri Dham. Then to kya baat hai? The whole atmosphere is spiritually surcharged. It's so pious. So whether you like it or not, you're always chanting Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Right? So, deshaha. Then, kalaha, the time of the day. Early morning, Brahma Muhurat. Nobody is sending me WhatsApp messages. Nobody is calling me. So, my dhyan is way better. I can do my dhyan, my japa, whatever meditation at that time. Then daytime puja, believe it or not, even scriptures are telling us, please go work. They're not telling us to sit down doing meditation during the day. They're saying, no, please. Varna or ashram ke hisab se, please go and do work that is conducive to you. Right? And generally at night, tamoguni activities are encouraged. Right? You're meant to sleep. Tamogun is not bad. If you get your 6 to 8 hours of sleep, that is necessary for you to be a better person the next morning, no? So tamogun also the right time. But tum agar din mein agar soye pade ho, then that is not right. So time of the day. Then our karma. And this again, our profession, our activities. They're very important. We have to take a very good look at what is the kind of work that I do. Right? The work that I do, is it helping me grow spiritually? Is it in tune with what I want to be 10 years down the lane? right? Choose your profession with care. And then of course, Janma, not in our control, right? Where we are born, who we are born to, these are not in our control, right? This is based on our past karma, but this is mentioned in Shastra because there is the concept of Diksha. So the reason why you need to take initiation refers to new birth. Guru se Diksha lena is new birth. So when you find the right Guru and you're completely convinced, then you take Diksha, right? So then you can't say कि यार मेरा जन्म तो इधर हुआ तो मैं तो तमोगुणी family में पैदा हुआ तो मैं तो तमोगुणी हूँ. No, you can change that. Then dhyanam, very important. What we contemplate on, what we are constantly thinking about. Are we thinking कि भाई आज निफ्टी ऊपर जाएगा क्या? Then stress, है ना? Or am I thinking of the party or the wedding that I have to attend? Am I going mad trying to figure out what clothes I'm going to wear, what jewelry am I going to wear? Am I thinking about the new car that my neighbor got, right? Am I going nuts working towards my next promotion? If you're going nuts, if you're getting stressed, if you're disturbing everyone through that stress, then it's a bad thing to do. But are you contemplating on the right things? How can I be a better version of myself? How can I be a better employee? How can TCS get full value out of the money that they're giving me? Right? How can my children be happy to be my children? How can I make my husband's life better? How can I make my house Vrindavan? If that's your dhyanam, perfect. Then mantra, right? Subconsciously do akhanda nama smaran. And Pooja, I would say this for you. Because consciously and subconsciously, you know what is right and wrong. You're already tuned. You already know God is saying ki bacha chal abhi le le. So then akhanda nama smaran. Akhanda means constant, not only Solamal. Solamal to karo. But akhanda, constantly remember God's name. So your mantra cannot be promotion, paisa, bada ghar. That cannot be your mantra. Your mantra has to be Hare Krishna. Right? And the last one is samskaro, the rituals for purification. Now, we're all, born in India, so we know कि 16 संस्कार होते हैं, लेकिन अपने में से कितनों के हुए हैं ये 16 संस्कार? खैर लास्ट वाला तो होना बाकी है, लेकिन how many of us really think that our parents, have gone through that garbhadhan samskar, or that parting of hair samskar, or whatever, right? But there are 16 samskar. It starts with garbhadhan, which means the intention to have a kid. There should be a samskar right at that point. And then there are so many in between, going right up till antim samskar. Right? Which is the samskar done at the death of a person. ये 16 जब पूरे होते हैं, then your next life would be very different. Obviously हमारे पहले हुए नहीं, इस जन्म में भी नहीं हुए होंगे. Right? I don't know if our parents were aware, but this is great for the next generation. Right? If we are going to raise children, then it would be wonderful if we can make sure that their children will at least have these 16 samskars in their life. Right? That is why knowledge becomes interesting. Knowledge becomes important. Right? It's amazing because our scriptures have put everything out there. We've just not bothered to study them. Right? So these 10 things decide which mode we are in. And therefore, we should constantly try to purify these 10 things in our life. Make sense? Yeah? So always remember the 3 modes are constantly fighting for power in our lives. Rajogun, Tamogun and Satogun are constantly fighting for power. So what should we do? We should lower Tamogun. We should say, nahi bhai, नींद आ रही है नहीं, अभी है ना माल करने की टाइम है, या अभी काम करने का टाइम है, अभी खाना बनाने का टाइम है, whatever it is. So lower Tamogun. Postpone Rajogun. Postpone it. Right? Because Rajogun is very hard to say नहीं करना है. It's very hard to say no to desires. है ना? So you say अच्छा चल ना कल करते हैं. उसको धीरे धीरे postpone करो, push it in the background and enhance Satogun. Right? So without Kāma and Krodha, God is telling us that sin will not be committed. In fact, there's a very interesting thing. Sorry, okay, we only have 2 minutes. I think I'll have to stop at this verse. But we were told of one incident. A very senior disciple of Prabhupada, very senior guru in ISKCON, Giriraj Maharaj, born to an extremely affluent family in the US. It was his sister's 18th birthday, right? and they come from a very, very, very affluent family. So the parents had planned this huge birthday party for the girl, and when it was time for the party, the guests had arrived, everyone was ready, and this girl wasn't coming down at all. And so they sent him to check on his sister. When he went up to the room and he knocked, he heard her sobbing away to glory. He convinced her to open the door. She opened the door. There were clothes strewn all over her room. Right? And he asked her, what is the problem? And she said, I have nothing nice to wear. And he says that that was the moment that he felt vairagya. Vairagya. And he left home and he joined Prabhupada's mission. So you don't know when vairagya comes. Right? So Giriraj Maharaj actually says that was the moment that he left home and joined Prabhupada.
Sorry, what is Vairagya? Sorry, I forgot you.
Vairagya is complete detachment. Complete detachment. कि यार इसका room भरा पड़ा है. Right? She's got hundreds of clothes strewn all over. She has endless money. And yet she is not happy. Right? That is when he felt complete vairagya. Okay, Granth Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining. Postpone it. Right? Because Rajogun is very hard to say nahi karna hai. It's very hard to say no to desires. है ना? So you say अच्छा चल ना कल करते हैं. उसको धीरे 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 postpone करो. Push it in the background and enhance Satoguna. Right? So without Kāma and Krodha, God is telling us that sin will not be committed. In fact, there's a very interesting thing. Sorry, okay, we only have 2 minutes. So I think I'll have to stop at this verse. But we were told of one incident. A very senior disciple of Prabhupada, very senior guru in ISKCON, Giriraj Maharaj, born to an extremely affluent family in the US. It was his sister's 18th birthday.